the great city of Babylon, there was a king ruled called King Nebuchadnezzar. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came against to Jerusalem and besieged the city of Jerusalem. Then the king ordered chief of his court officials to bring into the king's service some of the Israelites from the royal family. Among the captives from Judah, there were 3 young men called Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel wasn't just any man. He was wise, brave, and deeply faithful to God. While he was in captive, Daniel's life wasn't always easy. The king of Babylon wanted the best and brightest of these captives to serve in his court. Daniel and his friends were chosen for this honor, but there was a catch. They had to eat the king's rich food and drink his wine, things that went against God's teachings. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. Now God had caused the official to show favor and compassion to Daniel, but the official told Daniel, "I am afraid of my lord the king, who has assigned your food and drink. In case he see you looking worse than the other young men your age, the king would then have my head because of you." Daniel insisted. "Test us for 10 days, he said. "If we're not healthy, we'll follow your rules." And guess what? After 10 days, Daniel and his friends were healthier than anyone else in the palace. Their faith and obedience to God paid off. Daniel kneeling by a window, praying, while Babylonian officials whisper and scheme in the background. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. His mind was troubled, and he could not sleep. So the king summoned the magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and astrologers, to tell him what he had dreamed. When they came in and stood before the king, he said to them, "I have had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means." Then the astrologers answered the king, "See, may the king live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will interpret it." The king replied to the astrologers, "This is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will have you cut into pieces, and your houses turned into piles of rubble. But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me." Daniel told to the king's servants that he can interpret king's dream. The king asked Daniel, "Are you able to tell me what I saw in my dream and interpret it?" Daniel replied, "No wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in days to come. Your dream and the visions that passed through your mind as you were lying in bed are these: Daniel interpreted king's dream and saved others from destruction. Years passed, and Daniel became a trusted advisor to the kings of Babylon. But not everyone liked him. Some officials were jealous of Daniel's success, so they plotted against him. They knew Daniel prayed to God every day, no matter what. So they convinced the king to pass a law. Anyone who prays to anyone other than the king will be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel knew about the law, but he kept praying anyway. He trusted God more than he feared the king. When the officials caught him, they dragged him to the king, who had no choice but to send Daniel to the lion's den. That night, Daniel was thrown into the den. The lions were fierce, and everyone expected the worst. But Daniel prayed, and God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths. They didn't touch him. Morning light breaking, the king rushing to the lion's den and shouting. At dawn, the king hurried to the den. "Daniel," he called, "did your God save you?" Daniel's voice echoed back, calm and steady. "Yes, my God protected me because I was innocent before him and you, O king." The king helping Daniel out of the den, followed by celebrations. The king was overjoyed and declared that Daniel's God was the true and living God. He ordered everyone in Babylon to honor him. Daniel's story teaches us a powerful lesson. Trust in God, no matter how tough things get. When you stand firm in faith, amazing things can be done by God. Be brave. Be faithful. Trust God.